Whittemore keeps tabs on all the local races across New York that we do not have time to get to on this show in a segment that he calls Trail Mix. He joins me tonight in the studio. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Liz. Well, we all know the saying, and I think it's safe to say by now that we are officially in the political silly season. This week, one media outlet prematurely declared a winner in the upstate congressional race, the 29th congressional district. Jimmy McMillan grabbed his 15 minutes of fame and then the scrutiny that comes along with it, and a campaign sign became a key issue in a Capital Region race.
Done deal? It appears the Associated Press jumped the gun in a recent profile piece, all but declaring the 29th congressional race for former Corning Mayor Tom Reed. The Republican is leading in recent polls, but his Democratic opponent, Matt Zeller, isn't giving up hope. He says he still has a chance despite the party's tarnished image, thanks to disgraced former Congressman Eric Massa, who resigned amid sexual harassment allegations.
Not only did I grope him, I tickled him until he couldn't breathe.
I'm confident that, again, as they continue to find out that they have an Afghan war vet who's not a millionaire, unlike Tom, that they'll want to vote for me because I'm one of them. He's not.
Meanwhile, despite the momentum, Reed isn't taking anything for granted.
We're new to this, and we keep trying to get better. But the bottom line is we're not running from anything, and we're just going to keep putting the miles on the car and leave it up to the people.
That is it. Nothing else to be said. End of subject. There's nothing else to talk about it. Rent is too damn high.
Or is it? After Jimmy McMillan stole the show at Monday's gubernatorial debate with his catchphrase and platform,
But the people I'm here to represent can't afford to pay their rent.
well, you get it by now. But it turns out McMillan's own rent is pretty reasonable. The New York Post reports this week that McMillan pays a modest $800 for a one-bedroom in Brooklyn, but his building manager told the paper that just because he benefits from a long-standing rent freeze agreement, it doesn't mean his message to the poor isn't lost.
Let me lead by example. Rent is too damn high.
And thief.
That Sure as Sunshine was me in the video, that YouTube video.
That's Capital Region Assemblyman Tim Gordon swiping his opponent's signs from a private property in Slingerlands, all caught on tape by a campaign staffer for his Republican challenger Steve McLaughlin.
We're on the neighbor's property, which I have permission to have my sign and permission to remove his signs.
We had permission. We spoke to a gentleman. He let us put them up. The lady that lives there, this gentleman is a caretaker of that property.
So who's the scofflaw? Was it McLaughlin who planted the signs or Gordon who plucked them? One of them must be trespassing. YNN Solomon Syed spoke to the caretaker of that property.
If Tim Gordon were to ever ask you, Phil, can I put a sign on your lawn or can I come onto your lawn, what would you say to him?
I would definitely not let him put any signs, promoting him.
So here's where it gets murky. After Solomon and the other reporters covering this story went on the air, Gordon's campaign released a statement with a quote from the actual owner of the property. Her name is Roseanne Solera, and she says, "We don't want Steve McLaughlin's ugly signs on our property and demand that he stop placing them there without our permission. The only person who has asked permission to place a sign on our property is our neighbor Tim Gordon, and we agreed. I also told Tim that he could and should remove his opponent's signs from our property because we simply don't approve of McLaughlin placing them there." Now, even that statement is being called into question because Solera doesn't live at her home. She actually lives at a nursing home, and we're told that she signed off on the statement, which was pre-written, without really knowing what it was. She also says, the daughter actually told us that, and she told us that her mother doesn't like either candidate in this case and doesn't even plan to vote. And just one other note, this kind of thing is actually not really a campaign violation, although highly frowned upon. Technically, it would be considered trespassing or criminal mischief, although these cases are rarely prosecuted, especially in this instance because Gordon reportedly wasn't actually taking the signs with him. He was just grabbing them and then chucking them into the woods.
Okay, that's all very confusing.